In California, we have received numerous calls from farm workers, from community members saying that vehicles from immigration are throughout the agricultural area. And that has created a lot of intimidation, stress, distrust, and it is just very sad because they're going after people who work very hard, who are not criminals, and they are responsible for putting food on our tables.
Have you heard that if people are afraid to go to work or just have stopped showing up to work at all because they're concerned?
Terrified is a better word to describe it. However, we need to remember that farm workers have seasonal jobs. They need to pay the rent, they need to pay the utilities, they need to feed their family. So even though they're terrified, they're scared, they're showing up to work.
Now, just to note, we did ask the Department of Homeland Security to confirm that the raids happened, but a spokesperson declined to answer our questions. Now, your union advised agricultural employers to harden work sites. What does that mean? What does it mean to harden a work site?
We need to make sure that if ICE is going to show up, right now, there's no transparency on what they're doing. So they're driving, they see people, to be honest with you, they see people of color, see brown people, they're just taking them. We don't know who they are, they don't know why, they don't have a search warrant. So what we're trying to do is make sure that they understand that they need to do it in a way that is legal. Just show up and go in the fields to do whatever they want. That's not constitutional. That's not who we are as a country.
But why should employers help workers without legal status? Why not tell employers to cooperate with authorities? After all, the employers are going to be there, and what if they face some kind of retribution?
What we need to make sure is that everybody is afforded the constitutional rights. If you are going to take me, it's because you have an arrest warrant, you have some document that a judge has signed that says that you can take me.
Do you have specific examples of what happens to farms after ICE comes and arrests workers?
We have spoken with some employers that said, yes, we let the workers go. They were terrified. We had spoken with people that says, yes, the next day, only half of the workers showed up. But then the day after, everybody is there. We have spoken with small farms that say, if they come to my farm, then if we have here undocumented workers and they take them, I'm going to be out of business.
Trump did say, though, as a candidate, that if he became president, there would be mass deportations. So how surprised should we be at what we're seeing?
Very surprised, because he said that he would be deporting criminals. And let me tell you where you find the criminals: in prisons. They have been given the opportunity to be charged, tried, found guilty by a jury, and sentenced by a judge. They have already went through the process that we all should go through when we're charged with something. He did say that he was going to deport criminals. He's not deporting criminals. He's deporting hardworking farm workers.
President Trump posted on social media about farmers, quote, "Our very aggressive policy on immigration is taking very good long-time workers away," and that this is, quote, "not good." What do you make of that quote?
That's a statement that he makes several statements on social media. I'm the type of person, my saying is a show, don't tell. If he believes that and he's in charge, he can stop this rate right now.
What do you hope that in a couple of months that we can all kind of figure out from what has happened?
I would hope that people would understand and would put themselves in the position of these hardworking people. But if they don't want to do it for the benefit of human beings and their families, then they need to start thinking about what is going to happen when they go to the market the next time. Right now, every time you go to the market, you find your fruits, your vegetables, your dairy, your meat, your chicken. It is going to be the time that they're not going to be there, and whatever is there is going to be very expensive. I wish they would think about the human loss, but if they don't want to think about that, those are going to be the consequences, and there's going to be crops rotting in the fields. And again, this is something that Trump can stop right now.
Teresa Romero is president of the United Farm Workers Union. Teresa, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Protesters in cities across the country have been demonstrating this week against President Trump's immigration raids and his military response in Los Angeles. In Texas, Governor Greg Abbott ordered more than 5,000 Texas National Guard troops and more than 2,000 state police to help local law enforcement manage planned protests this weekend. Dan Katz reports from Texas Public Radio.
Abbott's announcement did not detail where the troops were sent across the state, but some were seen arriving at a downtown San Antonio hotel on Wednesday night. The governor says that peaceful protests are, quote, part of the fabric of our nation, but the guardsmen were mobilized to assist local law enforcement's response to the protests. Large-scale protests are planned on Saturday across Texas in cities like Houston, Austin, Dallas, and San Antonio as part of the national No Kings movement. Organizers already in San Antonio say the show of force is meant to intimidate ahead of Saturday's protests, but they're not backing down. Organizer Juan Castañeda spoke to protesters who turned out in San Antonio on Wednesday night.
Your voice means way more than you think. There's people that are struggling that fight so hard to have this voice, that are hiding in houses, finding shelter. And we have a voice that they fight so hard to do. I'll be damned if I let my voice go to waste.
Recent demonstrations in Texas have been mostly peaceful, but tensions have flared at times. In Austin, more than a dozen people were arrested after hundreds gathered at the Texas Capitol, and police in Dallas fired pepper balls at demonstrators and made one arrest. In San Antonio, the guardsmen did not interact with some protesters who turned out on the streets near the Alamo on Wednesday night, and no violence was reported. San Antonio Police Chief William McManus says Abbott did not coordinate with local officials on the National Guard deployment. He says his department has its own way of handling protests.
We're there initially to protect the constitutional rights to express First Amendment.
Abbott did not respond to requests for comment. In a statement this week, the governor said that Texas would not tolerate the, quote, lawlessness we've seen in Los Angeles. The governor deployed Texas guardsmen to the border with Mexico back in 2021 as part of Operation Lone Star to crack down on migrant border crossings. For NPR News, I'm Dan Katz in San Antonio.
This afternoon on All Things Considered, we hear about an Israeli entrepreneur behind